Indonesia is full of film enthusiasts since day one. Local movies until Western blockbuster movies tickets are sold daily. As this statistic quoted by Jakarta Post in 2015, Indonesia sold 16 million cinema tickets, and the number had jumped to 43 million in 2017. And that's still barely a quarter of the number sold in the UK, which has a fourth of the population of the Southeast Asian country. Wow. This number isn't only telling us that watching movies is not just a habit for Indonesian citizen, but somewhat become a lifestyle. The interest of the young generations toward cinema seems to reach a brighter future. However, looking aside from the movie on the screen, television is an important distribution of movies and another Hollywood or abroad countries based entertainment. In this medium, our scope will go smaller to one particular type of show, which is animation. And at this point, we want to highlight the importance of animation movies as the start of the cinematic experience. This is due to Indonesian children culture that their mandatory habit is to sit still for watching animation series on Sunday morning. This phenomenon has largely become a trademark for of the 90s born. What do you guys think? Do you also experience this historical event in our life?
Yes.
Of course.
Of
course.
Apa? Tell me, Natasha.
Okay, well, personally, I don't exactly remember what my first Disney movie was, but one thing for sure, I've seen a lot of Disney movies. Starts from Disney princesses, like the very old one, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and etc. And other Disney movies like Donald Duck, and yeah, and others movie.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
see. Cool.
Very
Man.
good. And for me, from my childhood until today, I'm still obsessed with this guy, Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Oh my
And
God,
I
Donald
also
Trump.
actually collect so many comics of
Donald Trump.
him. Like this is just the example of it. Like,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
very old. Like from I was like in elementary school,
You're such a
and
big fan.
I think what's interesting from Donald Duck is how he talk. Like he's barely we cannot barely hear what he said clearly.
Yeah.
Like I think it's
Right,
very
right.
cute.
Really? What about you, Devi?
So for me, I personally didn't grow up in Disney era, so I just read the comic, not the not the not watch the movie. So I think this icon is my favorite Disney cartoon, which is The Lion King. So
Lion King.
yeah, that's it. So this year in 2019, they're
Yep.
gonna
Have the live action of it.
premiere
Wow.
Oh, what's the name again?
The Lion King.
That's what the series.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next. How about you?
It's my turn. I have a few memories from when I was a kid, and it was a fun one. I remember that I really liked reading Donald Duck comic just like this. Can you see that?
Mm.
There's
we
so
have
many
here.
just nostalgic, you see.
Yes.
My friend
Very-
brought this to me, but I used to own these comics, but unfortunately it was burned by my mother.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this
Oh
was
my
sad,
gosh.
man. One day I came home from school in my elementary grade, and then it was gone just like that. My mother didn't told me. I thought I was a good kid.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
This is sad.
Really sad.
Can you press F? Sorry, and now nowadays I didn't really following the Disney animation franchise. Like nowadays I watch anime, but
Because
not this.
they do not
They watch.
produce the magazine again
Oh really?
anymore.
I don't know. I no longer follow any news with the Disney, and
Mm.
it's just memories from when I was a kid. That's it.
Okay.
So I think I grew up with Disney, but I don't exactly know that it was Disney or it
Right,
was
right.
another production. Right?
We don't get about
Oh.
that.
It's
Yes.
just
I was-
interesting that way.
I was just watching, and my family think that you're a little child, so you must watch this. It is a family movie. So I don't really think that Disney is good and this is not good. What I think that this is a princess. I'm a girl, so I will be a princess.
Typical
That's
basics.
one
So
hell of
basic.
imagination.
Very basic experience.
Wake
What about
up.
you, Miqdad?
My personally, I don't really remember what my first Disney
Disney.
movie, but I have one memorable movie that is Cars.
Cars?
Cars
Yeah.
movie.
The talking cars.
The talking cars.
The talking
Talking cars,
Because-
basically.
Talking cars.
First, I saw it in news in Bobo magazine,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I still remember
and
that.
in that magazine, it shows how to make the movies, like for when they start drawing and rendering and etc. and it
That's good.
amazed me because from this sketch it
Become
becomes this
I
cool
cool
Become this
animation.
cool animation, and I like the picture. It combination of cute and cool at the same time.
Cute and
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
Male and woman.
For my experience, contrary to Natasha's experience, I did not start with the Disney princesses, but I started with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. And then my parents bought me the CD of like somewhat silly symphonies, but I could not really remember all of the silly symphonies. But I still remember that I liked Three Little Pigs, where the three pigs was
Bloody.
chased by the werewolf. Because I remember because it reminded me of the Red Riding Hood because of the werewolf thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I could not feel the enthusiasm like people back then, but I still
Because
I
you're
love it.
still kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did not care about all of that
Understandable.
stuff.
Think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed Disney Kid.
Yeah, that's cool. For me, in my own experience,
Yeah.
actually, I don't really have particular favorite Disney movies or animation that one.
Alright.
Because I'm not really.
He doesn't grow.
Because I'm not really into Disney, but sorry, man. But I just don't know what Disney. Yeah. So those opinions are viewed from us in the 20th century, but do people in the same century when Disney first born feel the same enthusiasm as us?
So when Walt Disney published Silly Symphony in 1929 to 1939, he received a lot of praises because of the phenomenon of Silly Symphonies is like a great phenomenon during that time of the art the art movement.
Yes.
But aside from bringing joy to the audience, a lot of scholars also tried to study the art of Walt Disney itself. And one of Disney critics, his name is Richard Sickle, in his book, said that Disney works is vulgar, tasteless, crassly commercial, sickeningly sentimental, and crudely comic.
Okay.
So, in another side, Walt Disney was also praised as the new Leonardo da Vinci for the animation and production that he published.
It was rare then.
Yeah, but actually, what makes Disney love so much? Is it only because of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck?
Don't think so.
So a lot of people said that it is because of the Victorian taste of Disney that he made.
So this Victorian era induced new form of entertainment. Like the content helps to grow the sentimental realism of the 19th century, because Disney is rich with his folklore, and he used animals as human. Yeah.
Really.
And the thing is that the awareness of the social class that Disney used, it means to perform the friendly approach to the social class. And it's not just about the moral, but it is also the musical content that is also worth doing. Like in the Silly Symphonies, for example, the Dancing Skeleton,
Yes.
it has the musical thing. So I think this that makes Disney start to make animation, musical animation. For example, that particular song,
What song?
that Let It Go song. Can you sing it for me?
Yeah, it rings a bell. Yeah, it rings a bell. No, sorry, I cannot sing, guys.
Yeah. So it's from the Disney Frozen franchise movie.
Yes.
Yeah. But looking back in Disney movies, cartoons so far, animation, you can see that he used animals depicting as human.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, do you ever think why he did that? Is it really because it is hard to draw human?
Yeah, could be, but I was also wondering why in that Tom and Jerry. Do you watch that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it was apparent in a few episodes that it shows human, a mother maybe, but it was shown only
the
lower half,
yeah,
the half
like the
body,
legs,
and,
yeah.
only the up lower half of the body, and I wondered why didn't he show the face of the woman? Well, was it because of something else like feminism or something? I don't think so, but
I don't think so.
yeah. So do you know the answer?
Probably it's because of I think it starts with
Anthropomorphism.
Yeah. So, and what that actually is?
What that actually is. Okay, I'm going to explain what anthropomorphism is. Check this out. I'm back with my friend here, Tisha, and I'm going to explain what anthropomorphism is. Wow, it's hard to spell, right?
Yeah,
Anthropomorphism. You have 3 syllables here, but that's not important. And what is it exactly? And what does that term have to do with Disney? Actually, anthropomorphism came from the Greek word. Anthropo means human, and then morpho means form. Well, in short, it means human form, but what it is. According to Britannica explained that anthropomorphism is interpreting non-human things with human standards, human characteristics, and human, categorizing. Like we are explaining this little guy here with our perception. Like we are humans and this is non-human, so we are explaining this thing with our standard. Maybe this dog is cute and just like me, maybe. No, that's one example. One hell. And then what does that have to do with Disney? Like Mina in previous section have explained that Disney mainly uses animals as its main characters, and so this anthropomorphism explains that animals, that characters in that videos or animation of Disney using humans standards or characterization.
So, okay, first of all, I agree with her that the anthropomorphism itself is already named for about 4,000 years ago, from the Paleolithic era, and it's true that anthropomorphism means the animals shares the experience with us, like they are on the same stage like us. It's almost like in literary device called personification, something
I
like that.
see.
And also it's from Caroline Burke and John Copenhagen. And also Hamilton also explained that in anthropomorphism, animals share personality and physical features to suit the narrative. So anthropomorphism in Disney means that the animals are the characters are specifically built like humans to suit the fiction. And why using animals is because most of all the goal is to talk about humans issues and problems that brings political, religious, and social taboos that is very hard to proceed and also distribute if we are using the actual human form. And also they themselves, the animals, even when they stand themselves, can stand as a symbols. Like for example, when I ask you, let's imagine the end, like the end. What characters that suit with ants?
The ant, of course, I automatically think that ant is because of its size, because of its small. I think it is weak, like a weak creature that is easily killed by us bigger creatures from size. Yes.
And if we take that concept to the anthropomorphism to the movie The Bug's Life, we can see that the ants itself, aside from small, they also represent us as the small being, because they tend to be they are impressed by the grasshoppers group. And I think it's very philosophical to compare with us our life. And also we think that the ant itself is very hardworking and stuff. And also the anthropomorphism not only works for animals to mimic us, but also for the inanimate beings like cars. They are cars, but they are talking. And also they even have those flies that little flies that can shape like a cars too. And
funny.
In anthropomorphism, the animals can be found in their habitat or even in our habitat. For example, if we see the Lion King, the Simba, in the story of Lion King, the setting is placed in the jungle. Like they are belong to their habitat, and how they mimic us is how they can talk, just like that. But then if we see Mickey Mouse here, like he even can dress like us, he wear hat like us, and even our shirt is same colors like that. And this is the example of how the animals can live in our life like that. And also this in this story of anthropomorphism, human can be exist or not exist. Like for example, like you said, that Tom and Jerry, we ever see human being in their cartoons, but then what does they mean, what human role in there? Because we barely see the human, right? We just see their foods, like they're walking, and also maybe shoot them away like that.
Yeah, all I know is that the mother there is fat, and that's it. We don't know the face. It was never shown. Well, that's for my experience. And I forgot to say that this anthropomorphism was once used to describe the fictional god and goddesses in the past, just like maybe you know the tale of Olympus. And then
the Greek gods.
Yeah, the Greek gods. Yeah, but in nowadays, no, in the Disney era, particularly in 1930s, anthropomorphism was used to describe its own characters, like the animals, and then whatever it is in the Disney animations.
Yeah, even the anthropomorphism can be taken in political ways, like and like we explained before about the animation in political circumstances. Like for example, in Funny Animals 1972, in here it's told the story about the Jews and Nazi. And can you guess what kind of animals that represent this?
What?
The Jews as mice and the Nazis as cats. And
very satirical.
And you can guess yourself what the analogy of them like. So I think this anthropomorphism is very practical to, the goal is very, very obvious to talk about the taboos thing also like that.
Yeah, it's used to the animation as satire.
Yeah, after we get to know about Disney, we cannot skip our beloved mascot. Mickey Mouse.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, Mickey is known as a brave mouse full of ideas and solving daily problems, and currently in love with his significant other, Minnie the Mouse. But what if Disney's first mascot isn't Mickey and isn't a mouse? Well, the answer is we also currently uncertain of what will Disney represent the company well. Way before Mickey came, a rabbit was a signature of Disney production. But this appearance of the rabbit known as Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, we will get through Disney Brothers' first series, Alice Comedies. This series told about the journey of Alice, who is roamed to the cartoon world, accompanied by Julius the cat. The structure is rather unique, the action with the animated world around it. Alice Comedies was quite successful in early publication. However, Walt Disney needs 2 distributors for this read and keep it going. This distributor then happened to be Margaret Winkler and Charles Mintz. Winkler is the producer of Felix the Cat. Alice Comedies ran from 1924 to 1927 and gets a significant amount of attention until it starts to get wane. In order to survive, Walt Disney needs to maintain with another main character, considering also that Julius the Cat has distinct features from Felix the Cat. Together with Up Iwerks, Walt Disney Works, the new character in which Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is in early 1927. This character has been traveled to Universal Studios, where Walt Disney signed a contract to create 26 one-reel motion pictures of animated cartoon featuring a rabbit character, with immediate response of cheer. Comments said that it is hard to follow the excitement of Oswald, and the appearance of Oswald is not so appealing or young to the watcher. The next Oswald series, The Trolley Trouble, was released to the theater. This relationship of Mintz and Walt Disney didn't go so well. The quarrel ended up for Mintz blowing Disney away from the business, also taking his stuff and also Oswald, because legally it's Mintz's company who sealed the deal with Universal. Disappointed from the betrayal, Walt Disney, Rob and Ip Iwerks start from zero their own company. Together they set up Mickey Mouse. Why a mouse? Walt Disney said the mouse just popped up in his mind during his train back from Manhattan to Hollywood, when he needs to think of new character fast. Mickey Mouse, first starring in Plain Crazy in 1928 and aired for the public on May 15, 1928. Plain Crazy is inspired from the flight journey of Charles Lindbergh's heroic first solo flight across the Atlantic. Its plot entailed Mickey and some animal friends attempting to assemble their own airplane. The second one is the Galloping Gaucho. These 2 shorts didn't immediately win the audiences after all, until Walt Disney revealed Steamboat Willie, where Mickey Mouse and also Minnie Mouse got their birthday because the short has hit approval from the audiences. Steamboat Willie premiered on November 18, 1928 in New York's theater. Its synchronized music feature was in the highlight. We received $1,000 for a 2-week run, the highest sum ever paid for a cartoon Broadway. That's how the journey of Mickey's started.
And continuing the Mickey's successful way, Walt Disney, after producing the Steamboat Willie, did not want to depend on Mickey Mouse. So therefore, with the suggestion from Carl Stalling, who helped the music production, he made another series called Silly Symphonies, and the first film of Silly Symphony was the skeleton dance. Skeleton dance was the idea of Disney himself by watching when he watched the advertisement of some skeleton dances. I think it's not a plagiarizing, it's inspiration. And anyway, skeleton dance was a big hit that time, and skeleton dance surprisingly was a success despite its gruesome animation, because it shows like scary scene like bat, black cat. Even the setting is in the cemetery. However, the animation was quite funny because, and that is why people like the skeleton dance. This put Walt Disney animator Ub Iwerks and the composer Carl Stalling to the Hall of Fame. Then they started to make another episode. Though the grim imagery of skeleton dance is rooted in La Danse Macabre, a medieval European allegory about the inevitability of death. Dancers and puppeteers borrowed the imagery for performances material. I think that's all. Let's continue to another section. Goodbye.
So here we go to the Disney's development of distribution. Disney publication and merchandise had begun in Europe at the early 1920s, and with the debut of Mickey Mouse in 1928 and the Silly Symphony sound cartoons. Distribution of Disney's film was handled initially by the several American film companies. So, if you want to know it,
What is it?
first is United Artists, and then RKO, and then the last is Columbia Film. And in 1953, the Walt Disney Studio took control all the production merchandise by itself.
Oh, so it started being the independent like corporation.
Yep.
So actually, after 4 years of the publication of Steamboat Willie in 1932, an Italian artist called Mario Nervini began to print his own Mickey Mouse, but with a different name. It's called Topolino, and it is translated as Little Mouse in English, because Nervini is from Italian, right? But Nervini didn't know that this Topolino is actually a Disney character that have a copyright. So he start like writing stories about it, and then after that, this Nervini eventually got a 3 years contract with Disney, and his first comic was released at the 31st of December in 1932, and the first story of this Topolino is the Little Mouse. In the story, that was the Topolino was chased by an elephant. So in 1934, 40th centuries, Narbini changed the name from Topolino into Topolino, while he actually lose the space between Topo and Lino. Well, it's actually still changed, right? And if we look at the stories from 19th and 40th centuries, the comics of Mickey Mouse has like dark and weird themes. One of the stories is L'Inverno di Topolino. It was a story, the meaning of this title in English is Mickey Mouse Hail. So the story is telling about the Mickey Mouse and some of others Disney's characters, adventure and journey through Hales. Even if there is still Disneyfication like scenes in the comics, but still this comic contains a violent scenes such as when like Goofy being cooked alive, fire raining from the sky,
Yeah, I know
and
that.
demons chasing Mickey and etc. So these actually famous dark illustration are from Gustave Dorés. In other words, this is a threat for the slightly older Disney readers. So actually, L'Inverno di Topolino known as one of the greatest parodies. It was actually this storyline was actually taken from Dante's allegorical masterpiece entitled Inferno, which means is hell. And the original comic come out in Italian and released in Italy in 1949, but it is released and published in United States in 2006.
2006.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the journey of Mickey Mouse.
And also the Disney development. So in conclusion, we still enjoy the Disney movie until now, until we are adult like this. So yeah.
So hope everybody's enjoy this video. Thank
Dadah.
you.